Hello there. Welcome to a session on finding the why in how people buy. I'm your host Maria, a marketing and sales geek. Today, we want to know about what is it that customers want to hear, what do investors want to hear. Many a times I talk about increasing revenue, reducing costs, increasing market share, etc. But today, the B2B especially wants to know when it comes to the investment point that how much is it that they need to invest? If they invest, what is the equity do they get? How fast will they get their investment back? That is the ROI. And how often will they start seeing gains? That is the ROC, return on capital. Now, all these factors are worth analyzing. Coming to the first point, most of the presenters, when they make a presentation, they talk to the investors in terms of the monetary numbers, that is, the figures, the costs that are required in an investment. But now, out here, if you're actually looking at B2B investments or investments on an enterprise level, there are two other vital elements which I think people should consider, and that is especially time and effort. Investors very typically want to know what is the time needed that they are going to get their investment back. What is the effort that they need to put in? So these investors typically now want to know how soon they are going to get their investments back, their returns back, how soon they're going to be seeing their gains. Because any person who is going to be investing at this particular point, he wants to make sure that he's going to get his money back. Now, if we can quantify all of these to an investor, like, hey, Mr. Investor, sir, if you are going to invest this amount of money, you are going to get it back in, let's say, some XYZ weeks or months, typically, let's say months. But that's again in terms of money. How about the time and effort? It would be great if we can quantify even that too. Now, let us take an example, a classic example that I would like to mention over here is let's say somebody is wanting to invest in a software which is costing about $100,000. And once they purchase that, the time that is required to set it up, get it functioning, get it moving is probably another $30,000. So, what is the investment that they have made? It is $130,000. Now, this has to be a vital part of your presentation. The most important thing follows on later. Now, the return that these people are going to get is going to be 10,000 per month. Now, this I'm quoting through a classic example. Now, let's say they are getting $10,000 per month as a return, then it means that in 13 months' time, they're going to be breaking even. Now, considering the life of a software and how often we use it, let us say the company is going to be using it for a period of about 3 years. So, which means 23 months is the time when they're going to get gains. That is the return on the capital, which comes to a figure of $230,000. Now, these are the economics, these are the financials that typically interest an investor. Investor typically wants to know what is it that is in store for him. They like to hear the numbers, they like to see the pipeline, they like to see the graph. So it is vital for every person to make sure that they are able to give these kind of figures. In today's scenario, you must notice that the buying decision is truly not limited to one person. It is probably extending to people of 5 to 6. It goes from a manager to a senior manager to probably higher up in the hierarchy. So it is very important that the presentation given to the person at the lowest level should be so strong that he should be able to carry this message to the higher ups. Now, this is one of the most important things. So once these figures are available, typically a buyer knows what he is getting into. He knows what are the pros and cons. He knows how soon he's going to be making money. He knows what is the kind of money he's going to be getting at the end of the entire circle. So this makes the decision of buying a lot easier. I hope this particular podcast is helping everybody who is looking at understanding what is the buyer's mentality. And if you think that I have added some insight onto your knowledge, then give me a thumbs up. Thank you for listening to me.